All right, traders, this is the watch list video for Thursday, November 8th. Big pop in the SPY today and closed really strong. I'll tell you, the Dow was up like 550 points, which actually surprised me. I mean, if I had to put my finger on it, because there was no stellar results one way or the other, depending on what side you're on. I've been telling everybody in chat that even if one side wins big or the other side wins big, what you're expecting still might not happen. So, I was playing it by ear today, and I think the Dow was up, 550, I think. 545, 550. Anyway, an impressive day. If I had to put my finger on why, maybe it's just because the uncertainty of the election is behind us, and now we can go on about our lives. Maybe that's it. Really nice day in the chat room. Let's go over what we're watching tomorrow. The pot stocks, if you didn't trade today, were on fire, no pun intended. And I believe the ZYNE is in that space. So you have this, it's pretty beaten up, but you had this nice pop about a week ago, and then it's trending sideways right along below the whole number 6 and trying to kind of sneak up through that area. Looks like a lot of the pop stocks have looked lately, and this one is sort of lagging the others, so I threw it on the watch list. NBEV is a good example. Let me take today's candle out of it and show you. It kind of reminds you of that ZYNE I just showed you, right? That had this little bounce and then straight sideways, and then today broke out. ZYNE hasn't done that yet. I don't know if it's going to do that, but it goes on watch. NBEV, I also want to watch NBEV for a continuation. It's a pot theme, so we're going to see if they follow through tomorrow. YGYI is another one of the low float pot stocks. They had a nice run from like 6 to 10, pulled back for a couple days, and then today started to participate with the others. All of them started, by the way, before I finish the list, all of them started, by the way, with basically TLRY was on fire. I actually called this one in chat. There, I took a screenshot of it to show you, if you weren't in chat today, the call was TLRY. You can see it up here over that 116 seller idea. Rang the bell so everybody can hear it. And risking $1.50, that might sound like a lot. On TLRY, it's not. So the early high, the early high was 116 something, like 116.80, and I drew a line right at the early high. It opened right at the whole number 116. So I don't want to just say, hey, look what I did. I want to use these videos to show you why I called what I called. All right. So it opened at exactly that whole number. If you've watched our free whole number inflection points trading video, our webinar, you'll understand why that's interesting to me. So it opened right at 116, popped a little bit, went up like 80 cents, and then sold off. All right. Then all of a sudden it works its way right back up near 116. I said I like it over 116 because a couple reasons. One, there was a big seller on the tape. Oftentimes when a big seller gets taken out, you get an explosive move to the upside. And also 116 happened to be the exact red to green spot because that's where it opened. One more reason I liked it. If this thing goes red to green on an intraday basis, and for red to green, some people look at that different ways. For me and the way I trade, I mean through the opening price. It has nothing to do with yesterday's close, which is what other people use for red to green. Through the opening price. And if you picture the daily candle, these are 5-minute candles, right? Or 2 minutes, sorry. But if you picture the daily candle, as it's forming before the market's closed, the daily candle, as this gets up through 116 here, the daily candle's red all day, and then it turns green when it goes through 116. So then you have a red to green. That's why, that's what that means for me, red to green. And the fact that the early high was like 70 or 80 cents above that, that gives me another potential catalyst for higher prices. All right, so it triggers, chops around for a little bit, breaks the high of day, flags again, breaks, and anyway, I'll get that out of the way, and look what this thing did. Let's go back to the daily. This thing ends up from 116, goes to 142, which is a lot, like 25 something a share. Actually slightly over $26 a share in our favor, which now you might think, okay, $1.50 risk wasn't so bad, right? So this one ignited all the pot stocks. I don't even have this on watch tomorrow, but I'm sure I'll watch it. I'm sure I'll have it on a chart, but I'm not putting it on the watch list. I'm kind of watching all the sympathy pot plays now, but quite a move there, quite a move. So I already showed you YGYI. DXR. This thing is one of the thinnest stocks I've ever seen trade. It's just the bottom can fall out of it. Having said that, you had this big move here. It actually had news today, and then it gapped up a bit. So today's high is 820. You see, what, 4 sessions ago, it hit at 819. So I really like this over 820. Maybe it flags tomorrow below 8 and we get that whole number inflection point break, knowing that there's a catalyst there, and then maybe it runs to this high. And it may do nothing, but it is going to be on a chart tomorrow. Just be careful if you trade it. Make sure it's an A+ intraday setup. DSS has been deemed by the Twitter sphere to be in the pot space now. I think somebody said they make packaging for the industry. I don't know. Double check that. Never go by anything you hear in this video. I'm a day trader, and I collect what little information I can, but most of my trades are based off of what's moving and the charts and sectors and that sort of thing. Having said that, nice volume for this one today, and it closed pretty strong. So it's going to be on watch tomorrow. IDRA, nice relative volume for this stock and a strong close. Generally, I don't like to buy something after a big move the next day, but sometimes you get a small gap down, or maybe we get a small gap down and a red to green right at the whole number 9 with today's high as a potential catalyst above that. So I don't know what's going to happen at the open, but it doesn't cost me anything to have this on a chart. I'm going to watch these baby shippers again. Just another red day for them, declining volume, kind of close to the 20-day. It's flush 2. So we'll see. Dry ships has kind of been the leader lately, and it's still kind of flagging at recent highs. So dry ships didn't do anything today, but I'm still going to watch the shippers tomorrow. At one point today, if you weren't in chat, I was stalking. Hold on, I've got after hours on here. Let's get that off. I was stalking PXX, and I actually made a call in it. Here's the opening 5-minute candle, and it popped up a little bit. And if you watched the video last night, you know I had this on watch. So if this breaks 217, it's probably going to, that lights up the new high of day tick, and you probably get a little bit of short covering. So it hit 217 here, and then kind of a little intraday cup and handle that topped out at 214. So I put in chat, I like this at 215, a break of that 214. There was a seller there. So 215 with like a 209 stop, right? So I'm watching it, and then it does that. No trigger, no trade, so it just made it easy, right? Didn't get involved. Back to the daily, though, just another red day and very close to the 20-day. I want to watch that for a potential bounce tomorrow. GEO had the big day yesterday and then a quiet inside day in the upper half of yesterday's candle. So a decent candidate for a third-day move to the upside again. We'll see. And then this one's not the prettiest daily chart, but they just got FDA approval, right, on this day. And it rips and almost goes, or does go briefly to new highs for the year. Now we've got 3 red days in a row back down to recent support. So no, I'm not really bullish. You got a lot of people underwater in this thing, but it is back down to support with good news behind them, right? So if it's going to bounce, I'm going to watch it tomorrow. This is probably my least favorite of all the charts I've just shown you. We'll also add some gappers in the pre-market to this list, and we will only trade them if we get an intraday A+ setup. One of those people that I like to trade at inflection points. So when I take a trade, I should be green right away. Then my only problem is scaling out in parts and protecting my entry. That's much better than getting into the traps of averaging down or guessing on your entry. To me, every entry has to make sense. I try to take every trade where I can explain the entry with 2 or 3 different reasons why I'm taking it at that point. And if I can't, generally, I tell myself then I don't really have a trade setup. All right, I'm done babbling. Enjoy your evening, and we'll see everybody tomorrow.